I'm going to talk about the brainstem. Okay, so in this session, just I am talking about the external features of the brainstem, and this is from the ventral aspect or the anterior aspect, the external features of the brainstem. All right. First of all, brainstem. This is actually nothing but the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. These three are collectively forming a stem at the base of your cerebrum, which is called your brain stem. Alright. So brainstem means midbrain, pons, medulla. Okay. So when I am talking about the ventral aspect, then you can see this diagram. Here you can see the ventral aspect of the brainstem. Okay. So first of all, let's identify which one is your midbrain, which one is your pons, and which one is your medulla oblongata. Actually, these three are forming your brainstem. So you can see this much portion, it is your medulla oblongata. Okay, so this is your medulla oblongata region. This is the ventral aspect or anterior aspect. Okay, so and also you can see here the pons region is this. This is your pons. And what is this region? This is your midbrain region. Midbrain. Okay. And what is this cut section? What is this cut section? Can you tell me? This cut section is actually the removal part of this cut section is actually the removal part of your cerebellum. I think this is not, this is cerebellum. This is cerebellum. This is cerebrum. Removal part of cerebrum. The temporal lobe of the cerebrum. Okay, and you can see this is your small brain or cerebellum, this much region. So this is the basic orientation. So your cerebrum and cerebellum is not included here. So this is just cut and removed, and you can see your three major portions of the brainstem: the ventral aspect of medulla, the ventral aspect of midbrain, and ventral aspect of pons. So this is your midbrain area. This much area is your midbrain area. Okay, and this much area is your pons area, and this much area is your medulla oblongata area. So I am writing midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Okay, all right. So this is the ventral aspect. Now various cranial nerve roots, you can see various cranial nerve roots are emerging out from your meridian area, from your pons area, from your medulla oblongata area. So let's draw a schematic representation for this. So let's imagine I am drawing this thing here. Let's imagine this is the schematic representation of midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. So humans have 12 pairs of cranial nerve. 12 pairs of cranial nerve. Okay. So 12 pairs of cranial nerve. Now you can see from midbrain, the third cranial nerve nucleus, third cranial nerve oculomotor nerve is emerging out from the midbrain, and fourth cranial nerve is also emerging out from the midbrain, but from the dorsal aspect, not from the ventral aspect. Only one cranial nerve, this is your fourth cranial nerve, is emerging out your brainstem from the dorsal aspect, not from the ventral aspect. And you can see from the upper pons, your fifth cranial nerve is emerging out. This is your trigeminal nerve. And at the pontomedullary junction, at this region, you can see at this region, your pontomedullary junction region. Okay, you can see at the pontomedullary junction region, 6, 7, 8. These three cranial nerve nucleuses are present, and from the pontomedullary junction, 6, 7, 8 cranial nerve emerging out. Okay, so 3 and 4 from midbrain, 5, 6, 7, 8 cranial nerve from the pons. Okay, and remaining 9, 10, 11 from nucleus ambiguous of medulla oblongata, and 12 hypoglossal nerve. So 9, 10, 11 and 12, they are emerging from your medulla oblongata. Okay, so you can see the cranial nerves are emerging out from the brainstem region. And what about 1 and 2 cranial nerve? So these two actually the your inside the cranium. So these things you can see, the third cranial nerve is emerging out from the medulla, fourth cranial nerve is emerging out from the midbrain, not medulla, from the superior colliculus level it is actually seen, and fourth cranial nerve is at the inferior colliculus level of the midbrain emerging out, but only one cranial nerve which is emerging out from the brainstem, it's your fourth cranial nerve, dorsal aspect. This is the dorsal aspect, this is the ventral aspect. So fourth cranial nerve is emerging out from the brainstem from the dorsal aspect, only one cranial nerve. And you can see fifth cranial nerve. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. This fourth cranial nerve is emerging out from the pons. 5 little bit above, and 6, 7, 8. This 3 cranial nerves is emerging out from the pontomedullary junction. And from the medulla you can see, 9, 10, 11, 12. 9, 10, 11, 12. Remaining 4 cranial nerves, 9, 10, 11, 12, they are emerging out from the medulla oblongata. 9, 10, 11 is emerging from a common nucleus. This is your nucleus ambiguous at the medulla oblongata level. So this is the basic concept behind this. Now once again I am telling, let's imagine this is the anterior aspect and this is the posterior aspect. This is your third cranial nerve, and here is your little bit level below fourth cranial nerve which is emerging out from the dorsal aspect. Okay, pons 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is just a schematic diagram. And medulla, from medulla here 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 4, 4 and 2. This is the basic schema. Now let's discuss this thing in your, so though this is the ventral aspect of your brainstem, so you cannot see here the fourth cranial nerve. Except the fourth cranial nerve you can see other. Fourth, why you cannot see this in fourth cranial nerve in ventral aspect? Because your fourth cranial nerve is emerging out at the midbrain level from the inferior colliculus of the midbrain, which is posterior aspect of the midbrain. Okay, or dorsal aspect of the midbrain level. So that's why you cannot see in the ventral aspect the fourth cranial nerve. So let's identify the cranial nerves first. So let's start from the medulla. In the medulla you can see these two swelling, these two central swelling. You can see these two central swelling. These two swellings are pyramid. These two swellings are pyramid of medulla. These two swellings are pyramid of medulla. And lateral to these two swelling, you can see the olive. I am writing O for olive. So these two are pyramid central, and this lateral to this pyramid, your olive. Olive is present. So which nerves are emerging from this region? Now I am going to discuss this thing. Here you can see the 12th cranial nerve. You can see I am highlighting with yellow the 12th cranial nerve. This one, the 12th cranial nerve is emerging out in between the pyramid and olive. In between the pyramid and olive, the 12th cranial nerve is emerging out. You can see this thing here. The 12th cranial nerve, you can see here, emerging out from the junction of pyramid and olive. Okay, pyramid and olive, 12th cranial nerve, hypoglossal nerve. Okay, so this is previous year's question, AIMS question, which the 12th cranial nerve is emerging out from the in between the pyramid and olive. Okay, this is previous year questions. Now lateral to olive, you can see other 3 cranial nerve roots. You can see here the 9th cranial nerve, you can see the 10th cranial nerve, and you can see the 11th cranial nerve. Okay, so I'm erasing this thing, and now you can see clearly the lateral to olive. You can see the lateral to olive. This is the 9th cranial nerve, this is the 10th cranial nerve, this is the 11th cranial nerve. 9, 10, 11, all are coming from the nucleus ambiguous. Okay, now one important thing, this pyramid actually from this actually you can see here at the pyramid level, your pyramidal tract, your corticospinal tract is coming, or motor tract is coming from your central cortex and running through this pyramid, and at this level they decussate. Okay, so at the lower medulla level, your pyramidal tract is decussating and crossing to the opposite side. Okay, so this area is for pyramidal decussation. Okay, this area is for your pyramidal tract decussation. This is your pyramidal tract decussation area. Okay, so these sided fibers going to the opposite side, and similarly these sided fibers going to the opposite side. Okay, this is about the medulla. Okay, so from the in between the pyramid and olive, your 12th cranial nerve is emerging out. You can see this, and lateral to olive, you can see 9, 10, 11 cranial nerve is emerging out. All right, this is the ventral aspect of the medulla. Now let's come to the pons. This is your pons. Okay, at the pons region, you can see at the pons region, you can see at the uppermost region, you can see the largest or thickest sensory root of the 5th cranial nerve or trigeminal nerve, and along with this you can see the thinnest motor root and thickest sensory root. Okay, so sensory root of the trigeminal nerve and motor root of the trigeminal nerve, you can see there, you can see here the 5th cranial nerve root is coming out. Okay, the 5th cranial nerve is coming out or emerging out from the ventral aspect of pons. You can see here the same thick sensory root and thin motor root of the 5th cranial nerve. And at the pontomedullary junction, this is pons and this is your medulla. At the pontomedullary junction, you can see your other cranial nerves, like at the pyramid level, at the pontopyramidal level, you can see at the pontopyramidal junction, this is the pyramid of medulla. At the pontopyramidal junction, your 6th cranial nerve is emerging out. And at the pontomedullary, at the pontomedullary, that means at the ponto-olive junction, this is the olive. At the ponto-olive junction, you can see the 7th cranial nerve and 8th cranial nerve is emerging out. All right, so here you can see this is actually the 7th cranial nerve, and this is actually the 7th cranial nerve, and this is your 8th cranial nerve is emerging out. So at the pons level, you can see 5th cranial nerve, its sensory root plus its motor root is emerging out. Also you can see at the pontopyramidal junction, 6th cranial nerve is emerging out, and at the ponto-olivary junction, your 7th and 8th cranial nerve is emerging out. All right, now you can see the other thing here. Let's now talk about the midbrain region. In the midbrain region, you can see the only one cranial nerve. You cannot see the other one because this 4th cranial nerve is emerging out from the dorsal aspect of the midbrain. Here you can see only the 3rd cranial nerve is emerging out from the midbrain level. Okay, so this is about the various cranial nerves. Okay, now other important features I will also discuss here. So I told that you can see the olive here. You can see at the medulla, this is your pyramid and this is your olive. First of all, I am erasing all this thing and further I am discussing. This is your pyramid, this is your olive. Okay, below the olive you can see the inferior olivary nucleus. Below the olive you can see the inferior olivary nucleus. Okay, inferior olivary nucleus, you can see the inferior olivary nucleus at medulla level below olive at medulla oblongata. So what is the importance of this inferior olivary nucleus? Okay, what is the importance of this inferior olivary nucleus? So importance of this inferior olivary nucleus, it is actually, let's draw a diagram. Let's imagine this is your cerebellum. This is your cerebellum or cerebellar cortex. Okay, in your cerebellar cortex you can see some various three main cortical layers. This is the outermost outer layer, this is the Purkinje cell layer, and next inner granular layer. Okay, in the Purkinje cell layer you can see here flask shaped Purkinje cell. I'm writing P for Purkinje cell at the cerebellum. Okay, in the Purkinje cell layer, and from this inferior olivary nucleus is olivocerebellar tract. Your inferior olivary nucleus is sending your olivocerebellar tract, olivocerebellar tract, which is also called your climbing fibers, Okay, so inferior olivary nucleus is sending your climbing fibers or olivocerebellar tract to Purkinje cell directly. And another thing, just additionally, I am telling, just for concept I am telling, the spinocerebellar tract, that means the fibers coming from the spinal cord to cerebellum, this actually sending your spinocerebellar tract. This is actually sending your signals. To your granule cells. Okay, granule cell of cerebellum, and this granule cell is activating your Purkinje cell. So you can see and this tract is called your Mosse fiber. This tract is called your spinocerebellar fiber or Mosse fiber. Okay, Mosse fibers are major fibers or more in number. Okay, more in number, and inferior olivary nucleus from climbing fiber, they are less number, more number. So why I am discussing this thing? Because this is a previous year's AIMS question. Okay, you can see here the 2018 AIMS question, 2018 November AIMS question. Okay, so the fibers from the inferior olivary nucleus, goes to Purkinje cell of cerebellum directly. So which of the following fibers or which of the following nucleus giving the direct input to your Purkinje cell of cerebellum? Your answer is fibers coming from inferior olivary nucleus. This is your answer. Fibers coming from your inferior olivary nucleus is giving direct input to your Purkinje cell of cerebellum, and not the Mosse fibers, because Mosse fiber is first stimulate your granule cell, and then granule cell is giving information to your Purkinje cell. So answer is your inferior olivary nucleus or olivocerebellar tract or climbing fibers. Okay, so all right, this is about this thing, inferior olivary nucleus, etc. So these things are basic about this. And now let's talk about the midbrain. In the midbrain, you can see cerebral peduncle. You can see two cerebral peduncle here at the midbrain region. I am erasing the pons, etc. everything. Okay, so you can see these two structure here, this one and this one, and this one. You can see these two structure here. These two structure you can see here, they are actually nothing but your these are nothing but your cerebral peduncle. These two structure are nothing but your cerebral peduncle, Okay, and you can see this fossa. You can see this in fossa in between two cerebral peduncle. You can see this fossa in between two cerebral peduncle. This fossa is called your interpeduncular fossa. Interpeduncular fossa. This fossa is called your interpeduncular fossa. Fossa, interpeduncular fossa. Okay. So in the ventral aspect of the midbrain, you can see two cerebral peduncle and one interpeduncular fossa So now another structures also you can see here. You can see another structures. This is your optic chiasma. This is your optic chiasma. Okay, and this is your optic chiasma, you can see here, and this is the optic tract, optic chiasma, and this is the optic tract, you can see here. And you can see also mammillary body. Okay, hypothalamus, mammillary body of the mammillary body of the hypothalamus. You can see here the infundibulum, with which the pyramid the pituitary gland is attached. Okay, so infundibulum, and also you can see the tuber cinereum here, tuber cinereum, and posterior perforator substance. These are actually the content of the interpeduncular fossa. So first let's discuss about the boundary of the interpeduncular fossa. Okay, so this is anterior aspect, this is posterior aspect. All right, so this is optic chiasma, this is optic chiasma and optic tract, this is optic tract, this is optic chiasma. So your anterior boundary of interpeduncular fossa is your optic chiasma. Okay, and lateral boundary is optic tract, both sides are optic tract, and not only optic tract, this also your this structure. You can see here this structure. What is this? This is your cerebral peduncle. This is cerebral peduncle. Okay, they are laterally, and posterior structure is your pons. Posterior structure is your pons varolii. All right. So when I'm talking about the interpeduncular fossa, your anterior boundary of interpeduncular fossa, you can see your optic chiasma and optic tract, and laterally your cerebral peduncle, and posteriorly it is your pons varolii. All right, these are the boundary of your interpeduncular fossa. And now content of the interpeduncular fossa. So first I am writing the boundary. Boundary of interpeduncular fossa in between two cerebral peduncle, that's why it is called interpeduncular fossa. Anteriorly it is bounded by optic chiasma. Base or posterior boundary is your pons, and either side or laterally it's found by your cerebral peduncle and also optic tract. You can include it here or cannot include it here, it doesn't matter. Now the content of your interpeduncular fossa. So content of your interpeduncular fossa, what you can see here, just write what you can see here. So here I can see that the first of all infundibulum, one structure which I can see here, infundibulum. Okay, one, this is the infundibulum, one, this is the infundibulum, this is the infundibulum. I can see this infundibulum, and then I can see also here the stalk of pituitary actually. Okay, 1 and 2 I am writing infundibulum, stalk of pituitary, and then I can see here area, this area, this is called your tuber cinereum. This area is called your tuber cinereum, and I can see here also these two swelling. These two swelling I am numbered 4. This is your mammillary body, Then I can see also this area. This area is nothing but your posterior perforator substance. Posterior perforator area, posterior perforator substance. Okay. And also I see these two cranial nerves. This is your numbering 6, third cranial nerve, oculomotor cranial nerve. Okay. So these are the actually content of your interpeduncular fossa. So let's write content of interpeduncular fossa. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 structures are present. 1 and 2, your infundibulum, 2 is pituitary. Okay. 3, you can see the 3 is tuber cinereum. 4, mammillary body. 5, posterior perforator substance. Last one, 6, oculomotor nerve, third cranial nerve. If you want to draw this diagram, this does not matter. Let's draw. This is your optic chiasma, and here is your optic tract. This is your optic tract. Okay, and you can see these structures here. These two structures are your cerebral peduncle. Behind this your pons present, and you can see third cranial nerve is emerging out. Third cranial nerve. Obviously this is anterior, this is posterior. Okay, and this fossa is your interpeduncular fossa, in between two cerebral peduncle. This is your interpeduncular fossa. Now the contents of the interpeduncular fossa. Here you can see the infundibulum and pituitary cut here, and the just area behind this is tuber cinereum. You can see the mammillary body. Okay, and the posterior perforator substance. These are the content of your interpeduncular fossa in ventral view or anterior view. Alright. So now one important thing which I want to add here, this is the floor of third ventricle. Your floor of third ventricle also has the same contents. Okay, just some additional contents you can see at the floor of third ventricle, and what you cannot see there at the floor of third ventricle, just you cannot see the third cranial nerve. So the oculomotor nerve is content of interpeduncular fossa. True? Yes, true. But oculomotor nerve is not content of the third ventricle floor. True? Yes, it is true. So third cranial nerve, you can see only the content of interpeduncular fossa, but it is not the content of floor of third ventricle. So then remaining other all are present in the floor of third ventricle. So if I am writing the same thing here, the floor of third ventricle. Okay, so here I am writing floor of third ventricle. So content the floor of third ventricle, forming the floor of third ventricle. So first I am writing the same thing, all thing which those who are present in your interpeduncular fossa. Okay, so yes, optic chiasma. Let's start from optic chiasma. Let's start for infundibulum, pituitary, and tuberous cinerarium, the mammillary body, posterior perforator substance, everything here, and additionally tegmentum of the midbrain. Just add one thing. So this optic chiasma forming the boundary of interpeduncular fossa and floor of the third ventricle. True statement or false statement? True. Optic chiasma is forming the anterior boundary of the interpeduncular fossa, you can see here, and also optic chiasma is also the content of third ventricle. Alright. Second, infundibulum. Whenever you are writing infundibulum, just add with infundibulum is pituitary. Next, your what is this? Area 3, tuberous cinerarium. Alright, tuberous cinerarium. Then add mammillary body. Mammillary bodies actually, the 2 in number. Then add posterior perforator substance, and add tegmentum of midbrain. Just add 2 things: optic chiasma, tegmentum of midbrain, and remove the third cranial nerve. Third cranial nerve is not the content of the floor of your third ventricle, but it is the content of your interpeduncular fossa. Alright. Now in the next session, I'll talk about the posterior view of the brainstem.